of literal layers of
So
gold,
just
silver, metal
a weird,
conductors on top of that.
weird quick point of reference. We're showing all this here. So
exactly.
Cairo, Egypt is known from Al Qaira, which means Mars. So Cairo is Mars. And so on Mars we have Cydonia, and Cydonia is the area around Cairo that makes up Giza and goes all the way out into the eastern desert and partially into the western desert.
Yeah, so I've been looking at this
Cydonia on Mars. So anyway, just connect.
Just look at how clear the 1976 image is compared to what they show us now.
Right?
Yeah, it's black and white. But yeah, this was supposed to be the Pentagon. Actually, I'm wrong. That I made a mistake. But anyways, the Pentagon is right there in that little picture, and then this little thing, you can't even see what the hell's going on. But I don't know if you remember, like I do, because we were waiting and waiting for the new scans of this face on Mars, and I think it was 1992 we finally got to see it.
Yeah, they showed us the cat box, and it was like
they showed us
images.
How old are you, Hans? You remember?
Oh, I'm well aware of this stuff. It's like
I'm old, my friend.
Okay, so you had to wait like 12 years between like the first time when it gave you this clear image of the impossible face, and then like the supposed next one 12 years later for the.
It was a cat box, like you just said.
But it's like
they're laughing at us.
I'm not buying it.
Here's the thing: the technology was exponentially better by a decade, yet the image quality they gave and delivered was exponentially degraded by 2 to 3 like levels of technology.
It was like they were blatantly lying to us, and you know how it is when
Devon
you hear all
Island. Devon Island.
Which one island?
They did it
Which
intentionally.
One?
Yeah.
Devon Island. Like that's where it's like they go and practice. Like NASA's like, oh, we just send our rovers there at Devon Island, but people have found
up in the
what they tell us is Mars. What they tell us is Mars is actually Devon Island, Canada.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but then they admit that they admit that they go there and they train there, but they won't admit that that's what they're
they
claiming.
Distract you with some things that are true, some things that are not true.
Yeah, so Devon Island is the largest uninhabited island in the world, and it's in the largest northernmost island of Canada, and it is also where NASA officially does its like rover.
And if you look at
testing,
side-by-side
like,
pictures of
testing,
where is it? Where's Devon Island?
It's way up in the north.
The giant one at the most north of Canada, and that it also I've done an episode with shout out to Shem Jacobs, who was on here earlier, but we took too long to get going. He had to leave. But with him and Elkman, where the Elkman showed an ancient map of an area of Devon Island called Pyramid Bay, and then live on this episode I looked up some images, and boom, there's several mountain pyramids on Devon Island, and that the whole bay areas and canals, there's giant terraformed canals and pyramids all throughout this area of Devon Island, literally Canada's most
remember a pyramid.
But there's some people that have done some pretty big research.
Coming to a pinnacle, all the pyramids in South America don't come to pinnacles. Even the ones in Peru.
There's some great research that will show things that are on Devon Island, and then show previous photos that they claim were Mars photos.
What the hell is this? What's going on there? Is that a cave?
Right? Like, there's just so much ridiculous.
Well, I want to see. I want to hurry through these. There's 20 of them. I can't help myself. I just can't stop.
I'll pull up a couple
delicious content.
All right. So, where's these pyramids?
I'll find them. I've got images saved. You continue.
Like I said, they don't necessarily need to come to a pinnacle.
We're getting distracted from the root cause.
It can be partial structure. Yeah.
And also, I can't wait for you to show me the stuff that you're talking about in Colorado. In fact, why don't we just go there right now? Because
exactly
the Rashad structure.
It doesn't do 90 degrees, And what is that? That's 90 degrees canals right there with some ridiculous.
Also, rivers don't carve themselves into the rock in straight lines. When you've got straight canals going in the same direction for 20 miles, obviously part of a system.
Like, so this right here is part of Devon Island. This is part of Devon Island, the northernmost giant uninhabited island of Canada that NASA officially operates and tests all of its like remote space equipment drones on, like for conditions or whatever. Meanwhile, there's that, and it connects through. Oh, which computer is it sharing? Oh, it's on this one. Here we go. All right, so then there is this is on one of the corners there on Pyramid Bay. So here's one. And then I've seen very similar ones like this in actually South Africa.
In Utah as well. And so South Africa for sure. I can show you some very conical mountains in South Africa. Like it's not a volcano, but it's perfectly conical. I think it's overburden dumping. I think they created that mound you just showed us. Oh yeah, look at that one.
That's another one in this Pyramid Bay that connects with those 4 channels. Here's another one. So this Devon Island, it literally has these giant 90-degree channel canals going throughout with these entrances of different pyramid hills and mountains at each one.
No, I think they
what
do they call that with the ice right there?
Yeah, and look at that. There's more of the shores there.
Lots of
frozen, the sea ice or glacial ice. This is sea ice, I guess.
Looks like sea or
just
lake.
It's insane. It's terraformed on a massive scale, whatever it is.
Yeah, I'm opening up the map over here.
And so okay. Let me know when you got it up.
Who, me? You want me to put it up? Oh, okay. I can do that. That's Devon Island right there.
So if you can look up Pyramid, I think it's right in the middle of it. Oh, look at that.
I'm getting distracted.
Stuff. That looks.
This is very interesting over here. This looks very similar. Sorry, that's a different island.
Yeah, let's go in. Go in deep. All good though. Let's look at it.
Well, this reminds me of what you see in Morocco. These types of lines here, I really have had a thing with these. They look naturally, but they kind of imply there's like this ancient folding of the land, and it's folding, and people say it's getting turned over, and maybe we had a magnetic pole shift and it shook the mountains up. But to me, it looks kind of like somebody was not these two. These two are interesting because they're totally different from the surrounding islands. I'm sorry. I wanted to know where those canals are that you were just looking at, the 90-degree canal entrances.
So right there, zoom in right there. Right, zoom in right there. Stop, back. No, opposite side, but that is fascinating. So it's go straight down.
Right in here?
Zoom. It's on the coast, or can you do a search?
For what? Those
so just pause right now.
Dundas Harbor right here. See, now that I call
is west of Dundas Harbor.
It's west of Dundas.
Let's look at that. That looks almost terraformed.
Well, these are moraines, right? And those are supposed to be made by the ice. And those curves. It's interesting to me how you get a split like that, but whatever. moraines, and when you see a line like that, that could be an ancient road. I learned that from Anthony at Ancient Zero Control at Zero Control. He was looking at, because he's from Canada, so he's always up there looking at the area that I always considered to be under the ice sheet and flattened, and a lot of water events. But then you see these roads that look like they go across Canada. Wow, look at that. Yeah, interesting. What? Yeah, I've never been I don't Google Earth everywhere. This is one of the places that to be honest, I did find some stuff in Alaska that I thought was interesting, but not a lot of proof whether it was modern day or not. Look at this. What's that? That looks like
what is that?
Well, this is the stuff that I'm talking about along the Colorado River. See, let me zoom down there real quick and show you something. I'll go back up here. But if you look at like in Utah, starting in Moab in this area, you've got the Canyonlands, you've got the Colorado River coming right through here, right near the 70, right? And there's the right about, where am I? There's Moab. And so there's the Colorado River going down, and where it kind of has the trivergence here. What do they call that, though? The confluence, sorry. The confluence where the Green River runs into it. You look around it and you look at all this stuff. I really feel that this is signs of like super ancient. Like see how there's layers of red on top of white on top of red again? Pardon?
Yeah. Yeah.
This is Canyonlands. And just this whole thing that happened here. There's a few of them like this one right here. Just the fact now I'll be honest with you. If I didn't have all the other reference, I'd say, yeah, that looks natural. But because I've seen all this other stuff all over the world that's just doing all this crazy stuff, I don't really believe that anymore. And I think that they were doing some kind of a cuts here. You see too long of a straight line, right? The stuff that I failed to show you has 3 sets of parallel lines. So that's one thing going down the Colorado River. But if you follow it, you start to find all sorts of activity going along the Colorado River, and on the edges, you kind of see like they tore it all up, like this stuff going on here. Like someone just ripped it all up, threw it in the water, and let the water take care of it. And then, of course, you see these weird mounds everywhere, like sticking up, and you're supposed to think that's natural. I don't know. To a certain point, I do believe it looks natural. Where's Colorado River? But these cuts right here, I don't think so anymore. I think that was some kind of they broke that up to get the material, and they threw it in the water and let the water placer mine it. I can look at my Was This Atlantis page, and you'll see a lot of really good examples of it, because it's kind of hard to just pull them all up, where they just look so much. What's this? This is Lake... yeah, right there, like this kind of stuff, like that. It seems like they're up there. They're it's not really blocks. They're not quarrying blocks out of there over here, but they're doing some type of an operation where they're grabbing the material and pulling it down.
And just on a huge, grand scale.
Yo, look at this one right here. I really feel like that's just like somebody's like had a machine and they just like carved into it. Look at this one, one of my favorites.
Or actually, here's another possible explanation, is that if you raise the water level up on that and all of that area was flooded in like a giant like inland sea and like just inland sea sort of thing, that each one of those slots rows would be like a street, apartment, or mega like causeway of possible city or inhabitation or something like that.
Well, a lot of people say it looks like ancient cities, and I do.
It
I
do
think
like
there must have been something going on.
Cities, that's the waterways.
But
so
when you see a perpendicular line, like, you know where the water did it naturally. You can see the river, but when you've got these lines going across, and I think you can see that line, is it older than the river? I don't think so, but it seems to be going across the river. When you see perpendicular lines go across rivers, and when you see the stuff like I showed you in the Tibesti Mountains, where you've got a straight line and then perpendicular lines coming away from it, it just doesn't really add up in my head. What is this, Lake Powell? We're still up in Utah then, huh? Anyways, I'll go back up. Where do you want me to go next? I'm just saying, you see these are perpendicular lines here. And
yeah, I just envision that with flooded with more water, and then it being used as for like terracing for agriculture as well as in habitation, and it being green instead of, you know, dead and desolate and bare.
Well, and this must have been, I mean, I don't know if you can say around the world was a desert. Look at those lines. You look at how they're cut. You see 3, 4 parallel. They're not perfectly parallel, but they're in the same direction. And they go across like the river caused that? I don't think so. And then when we get even closer, look at those cuts. Look at all those cuts right there. The top of the plateau is left untouched.
Hard stone and stuff. It just it doesn't make sense.
There's a lot of stuff that I'll say is natural, but when I see those large cuts going perpendicular, and that's not really perpendicular. I don't want to sound ignorant. So where's the Grand Canyon coming soon as we get closer to it? Yeah, right around here. I mean, I don't see it all along here, so I sometimes wonder what made it more valuable spot. Sometimes I can zoom in and I can find some action going on, but most of it, I think, is where I showed you earlier. Yeah, look at that. So why are those colors like that? That looks like something was dumped on. Oh, look at, and by the way, look at the cutting right next to it. So again, they're all in the same direction. I mean, I would probably, like I say, if I didn't see anything else, I'd probably say, okay, that's natural. Look at this one. It looks like it's natural, but just because you don't see anything else like it at all, like what happened? Did somebody cut the top of that? And you can see that the lower plateau is what they want. This is the top plateau right here. Nobody's touching it. But this lower plateau, then this happens. Like, how is that even possible that this lower plateau, about 4,800 feet, is all carved up and eroded in straight lines, but the plateaus above it, untouched and pristine? I wonder how many people. I got a couple people. Constantine, thank you for your chat there. I'm gonna read it more carefully later on. And there's also mounds everywhere. Just trying to find that one spot. You see this line right here, it seems to kind of stick out a little bit, right? So like there could have been a lot of different projects going on. And I'm back over here again. I want to find those good ones, those really good ones, but I guess I just didn't mark them well enough.
Look at a lot of those 90-degree angles up there. Like it's just
up where?
Where you got it marked up there. Yeah, look at that stuff.
I'm not sure what I was marking there. It's been a while. There's something around here that I thought was really important, and I just can't seem to find it. But yeah, you get these cuts, and it's like, well, that's jointing. But is it? I mean, it just doesn't make sense, especially when there's 3 different directions of parallel lines. Literal triangles cut. Like, do you see? This is not triangles. That's 2 directions. And then that mound that I showed you, which is over here, that mound is just like, what the? Why would that be? You see all these straight lines, and then you've got these 2 round things.
Almost looks like one of the Devon Island pyramid issues.
Yeah, exactly.
All
just
the
like you were showing.
They call a butte out there, I suspect, is like leftover ancient like civilization.
Yeah, some kind of a mound, you know, and whether or not it was for just marking the land or working at the top so you can see everything. You see, when you see a line like that, it's just, to me, unreasonable to think that that's natural weathering, because when you have a parallel line break, here, this is one of my favorites right here. When you have a parallel line, like let's take this one for example,